Keeping with the theme of the course, we're going to continue moving quite quickly. We are going to review all of this content again in the next section when we build a few applications. So let's go ahead and see another directive. This one is going to be called v-for, and this is how you can do a for loop. Let's go ahead and try it out. The first thing we're going to need is something to loop over, so I'm going to create an array called numbers, and we're just going to have a bunch of numbers all the way up to 10. The goal is going to be looping over each one of these numbers. So let's go ahead and try that out. It's going to jump up here and create a for loop, and we're going to use a div again, and we're going to pass in v-for. This is another directive, and we can see that by saying the v hyphen in front of it. We've seen two directives now, v-for and vf. We've actually seen three, we've also seen v-else. And this is going to work like this. It takes an expression that has the following format: number in numbers. The second one is going to be the array to loop over, in this case the numbers array that's down here, and this is just going to be the variable that we're looping on. This can be whatever you like. I'm calling it numbers, I think it's nice and descriptive. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and render the content in here. I'm going to create another div, and then we're just going to render the number. Let's go ahead, save it off, and see what happens. And you can see we are now getting a nice big list of numbers. Definitely what we were expecting. The next thing we're going to do is combine this with vif and velse and render each number and whether it is odd or even. So let's go ahead and see how we might do that. Going to space this one out just to make it a little bit more readable, and we're going to make use of our isEven function. What we're going to do is render a span here, and this is going to be conditional depending on whether it is even or odd. We're going to start off with vif, and we're going to check if the number is even. So in this case, I'm just going to say is even and pass in my number. The next thing we're going to do is move this to another line to make it a bit more readable, and inside of here I'm going to say even. Let's go ahead and try and use velse again to make this work with odd numbers too. Just going to copy this one and paste it down here. This is going to be velse, and then we're just going to get rid of the expression here. We know if it's not even, it must be odd. Finally, we're going to go ahead and render odd, and I'm going to jump down here and delete this one. We're not using this anymore. Finally, we're going to have to update our isEven function. It needs to take an argument, and currently it doesn't. So let's go ahead and change that one. I'm going to make this one number, and we're going to replace this one here with number. With a bit of luck, this is going to work. We should now be rendering a list of numbers, and we're also going to say whether it is even or odd. Let's save it off and try it out. And that is working correctly. We have odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, and all the way up. So this shows you're able to combine directives inside each other. We have v-for, and then we have a nested vf, and you can nest them as much as you'd like. Everything is working correctly, so let's go ahead and jump into the next lecture and see one of my favorite features, computed properties.